Great. Well, welcome everyone to today's webinar. And this webinar will be discussing the DCS rollover preparation. And today, me and Claire will walk through everything you need to know to prepare for the new academic year in the digital content store, including key dates, what to check before rollover, and what happens when you start the new academic year. This session will hopefully help you feel confident and ready about the rollover process. Before we get started, just a few quick points to cover. Today's session is being recorded and we'll share the recording with everyone who registered later this week, so you can watch it back or share it with colleagues who couldn't join today. We'll also send out the slides and a copy of the Q&A next week. You can listen through your computer speakers or dial in by phone. And if you have any audio issues, you can switch this in Teams via the More options and update your device settings. Everyone will stay muted during the session, but please use the chat to ask questions at any point. We'll be keeping an eye on it throughout, and we'll have a time for a Q&A at the end. I'm joined by Claire Gordon, our product manager here at CLA, and I'm Monica de la Cruz, product support advisor. Together, we'll guide you through how to prepare for rollover in the digital content store and also answer any questions you might have. This is the agenda for the next hour and a bit, or maybe less. We'll see. Firstly, we will have the DCS2 update from Claire. Then we will have a look at the rollover communication schedule. Then I will show a short video running through updating student numbers. Actually, I'll be doing a demo. So just a quick run through on how to bulk upload your student numbers. And then finally, we will have a recap of what to do before June, and then we'll finish off with a Q&A. So over to Claire for our DCS2 update.
Thank you very much, Monica, and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us again. So before we dive into rollover, I will, as normal, just give an update on the DCS 2.0. So as you will all be aware, the new DCS is now up and running, and I'm delighted to say that for the most part, the launch went smoothly, but as anticipated, and as I'm sure most of you on this call know, there have been plenty of teething issues, but we are working through those. So thank you to everyone that has taken time to raise issues and to all of you that continue to do so. We are working very hard to iron out all of the creases that we've come across so far. So I just want to take a little bit of time to talk through some of the bugs and the issues that have been raised and fixed so far, and then move on to talk you through what's next on the list. So again, before I go into this, I just want to say, again, a huge thank you for everybody's patience. As I'm sure you can imagine with any project of this scale, it was never going to be perfect first time around, but we're optimistic that we are going to get there together. Also worth noting, there have been changes made to the DCS that even I wasn't aware of, as the majority of the platform was built before I stepped in for Imogen. So it really is a case of us getting used to the new system alongside you. But we're optimistic, as I say, to get all of these creases ironed out before the new academic year. But I think it's really encouraging to kind of note that people were able to kind of hit the ground running and create content requests and get content out to students from March the 16th. So we're taking it as a success, but please continue to submit any queries, questions, pain points that you have, and we'll do our best to get those sorted for you. So to start with, what have we fixed? So I'm just going to read through these. We won't have time for me to do a demo of what's been fixed. I mean, you'll all see them on the live platform anyway, but hopefully we can go through this in next month's webinar, or we can do an extra one in the middle of May. So the first one, a handful of you made us aware that the reject request button was no longer present after progressing from an academic request to a content request. So this has now been reinstated and we've been informed is working as expected, which is great. We also had a handful of customers notify us about their Leganto syncs not working correctly at launch. And this was because there were a few small changes we weren't anticipating that affected the API connection with Leganto and the DCS, but these have now all been fixed. Again, a small number of HEIs reported issues with students' access to links. I think we had 3 separate issues from 3 separate institutions, and luckily we were able to implement workarounds until the root cause of all of these were found and fixed by our developers, and I believe that all of these should now be working as they should. The next one is quite a big one, which was raised by quite a lot of you. So we were notified that the OCR flag was not showing for migrated content, but this has since been rectified for all migrated content. And of course, it was working fine for new content. So anything that has an OCR flag should now be showing. The next one is another biggie for HEI reports. So they were not showing the correct amount of content requests. And this was because there were concerns about performance from our dev team. So it was decided that the reports would only show content requests that were created in the current academic year. But it was soon realized after launch that this wasn't sufficient for you. So this has subsequently been rectified. So I realize there are still some other outstanding issues with reports, which I will touch on shortly. So if you do have any questions about the download per content item report and student usage, please just save those for now, and I will be speaking about this in a moment. Next, we noticed that course codes were missing from the completed request table. Again, this has now been resolved. And another one that was raised by quite a few of you, the preview function was generating a watermark, which interfered with your workflows, as a lot of HEIs need to download previews and make changes before re-uploading to the DCS. So this has since been resolved, and we are working on removing the watermark from the publisher supplied content as well. Monica, can I ask you there's a few people waiting in the lobby. Would you be able to just admit those for me, please?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, just so I don't lose my notes. Thanks.
Apologies.
Great. And so next we have tasks that have been fixed, and this is hot off the press. We had a release this morning before 9 a.m. So a lot of these things have been tackled, and I just want to make a quick distinction between bugs and tasks. A bug is something that was missed by us or developed incorrectly. For example, the reject request button. A task is something that we never asked for, so it's something that the developers had to change essentially. But obviously, as you can imagine, with kind of a change of personnel and the project being ongoing for over 2 years, there are bound to be a few things that slipped. So these are some tasks that we're very grateful to you guys for raising. So the first, it was brought to our attention that not all license permissions require an expiry date. So we have made sure that only SEPs is mandatory and the rest are now optional. We have also brought DCS2 further into the 21st century by allowing HEIs to use IPv6 if you want to, rather than just IPv4. So this is becoming more and more common with access and authentication. So we figured we would get ahead of it and add this now. Again, if you do want to change your IP address, you would do it exactly the same way from your My Institution page, and there'll just be a tab for you to choose between IPv4 or IPv6. We also had some feedback that the Academic Requests in Progress tab is confusingly named. So this tab only includes academic requests which have been assigned to a DCS user. So we've therefore changed this label. So you will now see that this section is called Assigned Academic Requests rather than Academic Requests in Progress. We have also made a change to the assignee selection, which will remain after leaving the page and logging out. So a few of you were getting very frustrated that if you were to choose all users on the dashboard page, if you then navigated to another page and came back, it would keep reverting to your own name and only show you content that was assigned to yourself. So we've now changed this, that it will stay as whoever you've changed it to. So if you decide to look at all users, if you log out and log back in, or if you change page, it will remain as all users. So hopefully that will make things a little bit easier for you. We have also re-implemented the courses with 0 students on the dashboard. So this is something that happens before rollover. Monica will go through this in a little bit more detail, but in DCS1, we had a shortcut for you. So you can click onto that shortcut and go straight to your courses page, and it will filter by all courses with 0 students, and you can make changes directly from there. Just a point on this one, it is only available, I think, 60 days before rollover, and then it will remove itself after you've rolled over, so it won't clutter up your dashboards any longer than it needs to. And finally, for those of you that use the academic request form or a reading list management system integration, you will notice that academic requests are given an ID. And then when these content requests or when these requests change to an active content request, you will also have a content request ID. Now, this sounds a little bit confusing, but a couple of you raised that it wasn't helpful that you couldn't see both IDs from the beginning of the journey to the end. So we've now rectified that. So if you do make use of the academic request form or an RLMS system, you will see that these request IDs are shown on every page. And just a note, when you get to the content request page, in order to see the original academic request ID, you just need to click on the original request button. So I appreciate this is a lot of information to kind of listen to. And like I say, I'm sorry that we don't have time for a demo, but all of these changes are live in the DCS. So once we've shared this deck, please feel free to have a look and test for yourself. I have seen a few reactions coming through, so that's great that some people have seen them and hopefully are happy about them. Next, we have a bunch of tasks that are in progress. So we promised you a full SEPs integration, and the work here has been done, but we've not been able to completely thoroughly test this yet. So with rollover fast approaching, we think it is better to wait until the new academic year to launch this feature, because I need to complete the testing and ensure that the product support team are upskilled on this new process. So please bear with us on this. But if anyone on this call that is an avid user of SEPs has any strong feelings for us launching before the new academic year, please do get in touch with me directly and we could look at expediting this going forward. Now, usage data. So there was a requirement from Imogen a very long time ago to merge the HEI report and the downloads per content item report. This was done, but it was never fully scoped out or scrutinized. So when we launched, users were finding that the functionality of filtering a report by date wasn't effective. So we have a lot of work, I say we, our developers, in the background to get this back to what was initially asked for. So what we will re-implement very soon is the ability to filter the HEI report by date. So you will be able to run a report for a day, a week, or a month, or a year, but it's really important to note here that the date filters will only apply to student usage. So do bear with me on this. I hope you're still following. But if you go to the HEI report section of the DCS and you choose to run an HEI report for 25 to 26 for that full academic year, and then you choose to further filter by the 1st of April to the 30th of April, the report will generate all content requests for the academic year 25-26, but the usage data, so the number of views, number of downloads, or number of prints, will be filtered by the 1st to 30th of April. So therefore, the number in those columns is going to reflect the usage for that month. And obviously, if you run a report for the full academic year and the usage dates from August to July, the usage will be account for the entire academic year. I appreciate that might need a little bit more explaining and a demo. So again, we will try and arrange this as soon as possible. But another note that this isn't live in the DCS yet, but it will be very soon. So currently the usage data in your HEI report only shows a cumulative count of clicks on links since the new DCS went live on the 16th of March. So just to reiterate, we're working hard in the background to get historic data back into these reports so you won't lose out on any data since before we launched the new DCS. We realise this is really annoying and far from ideal for a lot of you, and I sincerely apologise for the inconvenience. But if anyone wants or needs an HEI report or a downloads per content item report from the old DCS, please let us know and we can supply you with one until these changes are made. And finally, as I mentioned, we are working on removing the watermark for publisher supplied content just in the preview function. And we will also be working on adding an academic year or adding your academic year to the institution page, which will just make it easier once you've rolled over to see exactly which year you are in. So a couple of small changes that are coming your way. And then looking a little bit further on, we have some more future development. So we have some work going on for quality of content notifications, and the idea behind this is that when you have uploaded a PDF that maybe doesn't quite hit all of the accessibility marks, so OCR, tagging, alt text, for example, the DCS will scan the repository and let you know if there's a better scan available, and you can then choose that one instead. So we're doing a lot of work and testing on that at the moment. We will also be making magazine content available. I believe in the original DCS, you were able to use magazine content, but it was kind of under the guise of a journal article. So we will be giving magazines its own spotlight very soon. I just had a refinement session with the devs this morning, so that will be the next phase of work. We'll also be doing some work on improving the search functionality and also implementing some back-end improvements to CLA admins. So that won't affect any of you, but it will make kind of the background work for product support a little more smooth. And finally, from me, I'm sorry I've been talking for so long. We will get to rollover in just a moment. As most of you will be aware, I've been looking after the DCS in Imogen Wiley's absence. Unfortunately, we're still not sure when Imogen will be back. So we have hired a new senior product manager who I'll be handing the DCS over to in May. So I'll be working alongside the new PM to make sure they're up to speed on everything in order to best support the DCS and everyone that uses it going forward. And for now, they will be here on a fixed term contract for 6 months, and we may extend this depending on Imogen's return date. So just a bit of news that in the next webinar, I will be there, but we'll have our new product manager, Philomena, who I can introduce to everybody, and I'm sure you will be in very safe hands with her. So now over to Monica, and we can finally start talking about rollover, which is why you're all here. So thanks so much for your patience and for listening. Over to you, Monica.
Thanks, Claire. I will take control of the slides now. Right. We come to the rollover communication schedule, and this won't be any mystery to any of us who have already done rollover in the past years, and everything will be very similar to how it was before. But here is a run through of the timeline and the key dates to note. If you previously sent us a manual form, we'll be in touch to confirm that you'll be reporting via the DCS this year. If you've reported via the DCS before, we'll assume that's still the case unless you tell us otherwise. And as this was due yesterday, thank you for confirming. I also have sent a reminder email to everyone as of this morning, just to make sure everyone is up to date on our notes, as I will be sort of officializing everyone's reporting methods with our ops team. You'll then have some time to prepare your data, and we're happy to support you ahead of the rollover period in the first 2 weeks of June. We'll send reminders if you haven't rolled over yet, but everyone needs to have completed rollover by the 15th. And if you need to roll over earlier than June, please get in touch with us via the help desk. Rollover involves significant data processing and testing, so we pause development during this time to make sure everything runs smoothly, and we'll always need to discuss any special circumstances in advance. So here are some steps to complete before June, and again, this will be very familiar to most of us. A Start New Academic Year button will appear on your institution's page, and the button will be available from around the 18th of May, 14 days before the 1st of June, for institutions that want to roll over early. Only institution admins will be able to see and use this button. Please do not click this yet. Selecting this option officially rolls over your institution and starts the new academic year. We ask that you complete this between 1st and 15th of June, when no development or maintenance work is scheduled that could affect the process.
Just wanted to make a note on that button as well. I don't know if you're going to come to it in a minute, Monica, but that button will become available 2 weeks before the 1st of June if anybody would like to roll over ahead of that period. So you do have a 2-week buffer. I think the 18th of May is when it will become clickable.
Yeah. Did mention that. Just as a reminder for you to be prepared for rollover, you will need to have completed all of this work on screen by the end of May so that rollover can properly begin. This includes ensuring all EHES orders for the current academic year are completed and approved. Next, checking that all required content has been published in DCS2. Institutions should also then update student numbers for the new academic year. Finally, archiving or deleting courses that are no longer in use should be completed. One of the first steps is to ensure all EHES orders are in a completed status with no pending orders, and this is crucial as any outstanding orders will prevent the rollover process. This means all fulfilled orders must be accepted, and any failed ones must be marked as such in your DCS. We can help you complete any incomplete orders, but as some occasionally do get missed. So if you have any older orders that for some reason you can't accept or process, please let us know and we will ensure that they are closed for you. You can find and progress EHES orders via the dashboard, as you can see on this slide. And then to further double check any EHES orders, you can run an EHES report, which shows all completed orders just to double check your list. I'm going to run through how you can check this in the DCS in the next few slides. So this is the reporting dashboard, running an EHES report from here. And then to find orders which need to be closed, you can scroll to the bottom of the DCS dashboard to the EHES section. And here you'll see a link called EHES Open Orders with a number of open orders in brackets. You can click on this link and you'll be taken to a new page showing you all the requests with open EHES orders. And then you can work through all of the orders by clicking on each row and request. On the request page, you can scroll down to the source content section where you can see your order. And if an option to accept the order is available, you can click on this to accept and close it. If you see a message telling you the order can't be accepted, please archive your request from the course page and then reinstate it. This will allow you to make changes to your request. And then you can accept your order and you can regenerate the content link to close the request again. Your content link URL will not change, so there's no need to replace this from here. As mentioned, EHES reports only show completed EHES orders and their key details. They're used to review what has actually been ordered, processed, and charged via EHES rather than what's still in progress. But this might be quite a nifty way to just double check everything ahead of rollover. And we do recommend you do this for your academic year. If you don't see an option to accept the order, it may be that the order is still in progress or it can't be fulfilled. And in this case, please contact support.dcs@cla.co.uk, referencing your request ID, and then you can ask the support team to close the order.
The next step would be making sure all content used during the academic year is uploaded to the DCS, is published and has a generated link. If you have shared content with students during the academic year under the terms of the CLA licence, this needs to be on the DCS with a published link. If there are any requests with a published link that were not used throughout the academic year, please archive or delete these requests. This will ensure that they are not reported. Any courses that did not run during the academic year should be archived or deleted to ensure accurate reporting. You can filter on the column header for student numbers for courses with 0 students, and this should give you a clear view of which need to be archived or deleted. It's important to archive historical data for reporting, removing courses from day-to-day use, and deletion should only be used where appropriate. This keeps the system tidy and makes it easier to manage new courses and prevents staff and students from accessing outdated content.
And as mentioned, one very important step is updating student numbers on the DCS. Accurate student numbers are essential for correcting licensing reporting and compliance within DCS2. As stated previously, all courses need to be up to date with accurate student numbers before rollover, and if any courses on the DCS has 0 students, you will not be able to complete rollover. You can review which courses have 0 students by navigating on the dashboard through to course uploads, downloading the current data, amending the info, and re-uploading this onto the DCS. If a course didn't run during the academic year, you will need to archive or delete this course. And if you think the course might run again, you can archive the course so you can easily reinstate this in the future. You should delete any courses that are not likely to run again, since the more courses you have on the DCS, the longer it will take to complete rollover. Student numbers should be taken from your institution's student record system or registry. Okay, so I will run through how you do this on the shiny new platform. If you can give me a thumbs up once you can see my screen properly, that would be, again, wonderful. Can you see this?
Yep, we can see your screen now.
And so we are on the CLA institution, and this is the dashboard, if you haven't already seen it, the new DCS2. And in order to update your student numbers in bulk, it's as easy as navigating to your course upload page, navigating to either courses or students. For this purpose, it will be students, downloading your current data, saving it onto whichever platform you save it onto, or file you save it onto. And this will appear with all of your student data for the academic year. So these are all dummy numbers and also dummy courses from the CLA institution. So you'll see some of our names on there and some random courses. But let's say all of our classes are the same. Just for the purposes of the demo. Clicking Save As, and one very important thing to note is that you need to save it as a CSV file, so make sure that that is the format that it is in. Clicking Save. Click off this, choosing your CSV file. It'll be this. Clicking Open. It'll take a little while for it to update, but it should appear under your report history. And as you can see, the status will update from queued to in progress to completed, or sometimes it jumps to completed straight away. It's good to refresh the page just to double check. It's taking a little while right now. Let's see if it can complete whilst we do the demo. Okay, apparently not. So for the purposes of keeping this a bit more brief than it might take. Oh, there we go. A little bit of patience. And then clicking download and saving that just to double check what the numbers are is probably a very good idea. So as you can see, the action column confirms that your student numbers have been updated. And it's as easy as that. Let's see. And then to go back to the presentation slide that I was on. Can everyone see the slides again? If you could give me a thumbs up or some sort of reaction, that would be great.
Yep, we can see it.
And now we get to the sort of nitty-gritty with your RLMSs. And first off, I'm going to speak about Ex Libris Leganto users and course name changes at rollover. So these are the comparisons between Leganto and DCS. Once you select Start Next Academic Year, the DCS will roll over each course with all its existing content to the following academic year, providing you update your student numbers as mentioned. Do not do this yet. The DCS closes out the old academic year and sends the usage report to CLA. Then it creates a duplicate of all courses and requests for the new academic year. The DCS does not automatically change course names or course codes after you roll over. The course codes in the DCS remain as they were. And if your course code is updated, for example, course code 2024 to course code 2025 or 2026 in your reading list, you'll need to update it yourself in the DCS. And you can do this as a bulk process. Leganto, on the other hand, creates a duplicate copy of all the courses for your new year. In many cases, they automatically update prefixes in course names and or course codes. To add new requests to these courses, HEIs have to update DCS course names to match. Technically, it doesn't matter whether DCS or Leganto rolls over first. The key point is that the course codes must match. Most HEIs tend to end up rolling over in the DCS first, typically in June, and then in Leganto later. So why must course codes match? The DCS and RLMS communicate via an API that relies on matching ID. For most actions, this ID is the course code, so course codes must match exactly in both systems, and even small differences can cause any sync issues. What happens when we roll over? So in the current academic year, the course codes in the two systems match. When doing the rollover to the next academic year, let's say, for example, we first roll over the DCS, no codes change, so there's no problem. The API can still match data. Then we roll over in Leganto with the codes auto-updating. This only changes them in Leganto, not also in the DCS. So the codes won't match and the data wouldn't be found. We would need to do a bulk update of all the course codes in the DCS, and then they'll match Leganto, and then the data will flow again. Basically, if the course codes aren't updated in your reading list, so Leganto, and it hasn't been updated in the DCS, a new course will be generated automatically when you submit a new request. The system searches for the associated course code, and if no exact match is found, a new course code is generated and the request is created there. I do recommend giving Leganto's own website a read if you are struggling with this, as we can only, to an extent, provide some information on your Leganto processes, as we can only really advise on DCS. When do we update course codes? Only update course codes in the DCS after completing the rollover process in Leganto. As for TALIS rollover methods, TALIS is a very similar process, but the order of rollover is very important. So if, for example, you rolled over on the DCS first, then TALIS, then in the following years, you must roll over in the same order. So DCS, then TALIS again. As with Ex Libris Leganto, I do recommend going over to the TALIS website just to double check DCS integrations and rollover processes on there, as they do have some very good information there if you need more help on the matter. And then it's over to Claire. Thank you for listening to me speak and also for coming back after that little blip.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. And yeah, again, thank you, everyone. I think we've lost quite a few people, but thanks so much for coming back. Just a little bit longer, we're just going to go through some FAQs that hopefully are useful for rollover. So what happens if my institution is not rolling over in the RLMS? The answer to this is you will still have to roll over in the DCS. So they are two separate systems and connected by the API. But if you're not rolling over in an RLMS, no change to course codes or course names, you don't need to do any bulk updates of courses in the DCS. So will our links stay the same after rollover? The answer to this is yes, all of the links will stay the same for your content. So there's no need to update anything on your reading list, VLEs, or anything like that with your new links, and students' access will not be affected. Next, what if I don't complete rollover by the 15th of June? If you don't, or you forget, or you can't do it for whatever reason, CLA will start rolling over institutions from this date. So as I mentioned earlier in the chat of the last meeting, we require this data, or CLA requires this data for our distributions reporting at this point. So if you have a small team and the person that is in charge of rollover happens to be on holiday during that period, for example, just let us know and we can either get it done earlier for you, or we can make sure that someone is on hand at our side to do this for you. But essentially, if you can't do it by the 15th, you won't stay stuck in the past, in the previous academic year. We will do that for you. Can I still use the DCS whilst rollover is taking place? We ask that you and your teams don't use the DCS until the rollover is complete. So the next question will kind of come into this, but depending on the time it takes, we'd recommend you either do rollover early in the morning or in the evening. If you have thousands of content requests and courses, this is going to take a lot longer than those that only have a few. So if you do have a large amount to roll over, we'd recommend doing that in the evening. You can close the DCS down. It will still continue to roll over in the background, but we'd ask that you don't create anything new in the system while this happens. I'm going to repeat myself slightly here. So how long will rollover take? It all depends on how much content you have in the DCS. So if you have upwards of 30,000, this could take anywhere up to 8 hours, but it would take less than an hour for fewer than 1,000 requests. So please do plan for that. But yes, as I mentioned, you can kick off the rollover process and then go about your days, your evenings, whichever, depending on the time that you decide to roll over. So finally, does anyone have any other questions DCS2-wise or rollover-wise? We will do what we normally do and make note of all of these questions and make sure that we get back to you with the Q&A. Myself and Stephen are both off next week on holiday, so Monica will be taking care of this and we'll make sure that you receive all of the information and these 2 recordings by next Thursday. So before we wrap up, does anyone have any more questions? Please feel free to just pop them in the chat. Is there any update about the re-implementation? Sorry, Monica.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Cool. I was just going to answer this one in the chat. There's no update from Cortext at the moment. We are due to, so obviously Cortext were our developer for DCS1, so we will be meeting with them before our contract ends at the end of May. So we'll be chasing them up on this. We were told at the end of last year that June of this year was when they would be looking at their roadmap, and we have asked to be on that roadmap. So we've asked our integration to be considered. So we will be asking to talk to them about that very soon, and we'll be in touch hopefully by the end or by the next webinar. I did archive one course that's no longer running, but it still appears on the 25-26 list. Yes, that is normal, but it should appear as archived, not as live. Is it obvious in the DCS when your rollover has completed? So you will receive a toast message, so a little message in the bottom right-hand corner that says it has completed successfully. But other than that, there's no kind of fireworks and fanfare, but you can get in touch with us to ask if it's been completed successfully, because we'll be running reports periodically every day from June the 1st to the 15th. So we'll be able to email you to let you know when it's complete. Is there a way to see courses that have no active requests? Unfortunately, not, other than going into the course to see the content that is associated with it. But that is a good point. Maybe it's something we can note down for future. Bethan, thanks. We have rather a lot of stuff on there. Yes, I imagine it will probably take some time for your HEI to roll over, but we will be able to notify you once we've seen that it's completed. Alex Priestman, yes, so our HEI report this year have a large number of extracts that have 0 views. That is because of the migration and the point that I mentioned earlier, that the current state of the reports is only pulling views, a cumulative amount of clicks from the 16th, but we're working in the background to get all of that historic data in for you. But if you want an existing report from the previous year, just let us know. So for 25-26, from August the 1st, 2025, we will send that over to you. And that goes for anyone else that would like that information also.
Any more questions? Will this be sorted before the rollover? It is an ongoing development, isn't that right, Claire?
It is, but the next sprint or the next release we will have, if I just go to the backlog, will be the 12th of May. So yes, we hope that it is going to be, but there is a lot, there's a lot of work going on with this. So that is the aim, that it will be done before rollover. But as I said, the workaround will be for us to pull an old report for you.
Hi, Catherine. Thank you. It's nice to talk to you live time because I've been emailing back and forth regarding your HEI report, but I'm working with our IT department at the moment to upload your HEI report that was too big to download onto your CLA cloud. We have a cloud storage system that basically you can download from securely through password links, but at the moment I can't do that. So please bear with me as I try to navigate how to do that. Hopefully I'll get it to you well before rollover.
Will full instructions be sent out with the webinar? Yes, we will send links, and we will send this webinar, and we'll also send links to the knowledge base. And Amanda, if you do feel that that's not clear or you need more information, please send a message to the support desk and we can have a one-on-one call with you. But I think, not to boil it down, because it is a lot going on, but it is a very simple process. As long as you make sure your EHES orders are closed, all of your student numbers are updated, it is just as simple as clicking that button on your institution page, but we'd be happy to work with you through it.
Will full instructions be sent out with a webinar? I've never done rollover before. Yes, we will have...
That was the one I just answered, Monica.
Did you already do that one? Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
apologies.
That's okay. So Amy's just asked, will we be told when the report has been, or when the reporting has been completed? Yes, we will aim to let you know. We should do release notes after. So as from this morning, the release, we were able to tell you live in the webinar, but we will be able to tell you when the HEI report is done. That will be, well, at the transitional period with the new product manager. So the communication will come either from In Touch or from one of us to let you know when this has been resolved. We're bang on 12 o'clock, but seeing as we had some technical issues, we'll just give another minute to see if anyone's got anything else to ask. It doesn't look like it.
That pause says something.
Yes, I think hopefully that's all questions answered. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really sorry about the technical issues we had, but thank you so much for listening to the DCS 2.0 updates and to rollover. And as always, any questions, please get in touch with us. And as I said, Monica will follow up with all of the usual webinar comms. Yes, enjoy your lunchtime and your weekend when it comes. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening in. That's great. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.